Life is always going to be full of surprises. That's what keeps it interesting. But at the same time, that's the reason it can be hard to figure out how to prioritize your art, your calling, your family, and other obligations when those seasons change throughout life. That's what we're going to talk about right now, how to have discernment in those seasons. Welcome, I'm Joel Pelsu, President of Arts and Entertainment Ministries, and our passion is helping you as a creative professional to succeed in your creative life while growing deeper in your spiritual walk. Because your creativity and your spirituality are designed by God to work in concert with one another. That's our passion. That's your passion. Take a second to like and subscribe to our channel. Click on that bell so you get all the notifications every time we release new content. Oh, and before we jump in, I want to let you know we have a free masterclass about your calling as an artist for professional creatives. The links are down below if you want to check that out. I encourage you to do so. Now, let's jump in. It's easy to imagine in our creative life and even our spiritual life, always growing, always getting better, like this idea in our career that we can always make more money, have more stability, more opportunities as we develop and hone our craft, build our networks, and it seems to make sense. But the problem is, it just isn't true. Being a creative is not like a lawyer where you can charge more per hour every year. I have friends who are film producers. They've made tons of movies and still they got to go raise money and start all over each time. There's no guarantee things get easier or simpler. What's actually guaranteed is that you will face challenges. You're going to face challenges in your personal life, challenges in your professional life, challenges in your family, and challenges in your spiritual life. There's no secret hack to avoiding these challenges. It's part of life. And the truth is this, God is with you in all of these seasons of life. Through all these challenges, you're not alone. But God is not just present, as wonderful as that is. God is also working in your life as you walk through these seasons. We just need to pay attention. Be open to pivoting when we need to. Some seasons you'll be able to fully pour your energy into your creative work 100%. Other seasons, you may not have much time for that same work. But if we're going to live God-honoring lives, we need to learn how to love God, love our neighbor, even as we develop our skills and our talents and our career. All of those things at the same time. How do we balance that? How do we navigate these different seasons? Now, you may be wondering, why is this so important? Well, because of all the things going on around you and even what is happening within you as God forms you and shapes you. So many things can surprise us, require new ways of thinking and approaching life, whether it's a spouse dealing with cancer, a child struggling with mental health, or caring for aging parents. There's so many things that can just surprise us. We live in a broken world, which shouldn't surprise us, but it often does, right? So the question is this: how do we make the right decisions about our art and our life during these challenging seasons? Obviously, I can't give you answers for every possible scenario. That's ridiculous. But I can give you principles to help you make the decisions you need to make. And we want to equip you. So toward that end, I think the best way to break this down is this. God did not have only one project or one purpose or one aim for you to focus on during your life. God cares about more than your career. He cares about your heart, your family, your community, and many other dynamics of your life and those people around you. We need to realize we have multiple callings. Just think about it. Yes, you're called to love God. You are called to love your spouse. And of course, you're called to care for your kids as they're growing up and respect and care for your elders, especially aging parents. On top of those core callings, you're called to love your family by working and providing, caring for those under the same roof with you. And finally, you have a particular passion you feel God has really called you to pursue that is creative or imaginative. You're doing something with the arts and you feel like you're called to meet this as part of your life calling from God. Well, the problem arises when these various callings, they just seem to come in conflict with one another. You're limited. You don't have unlimited hours, right? Consider you have 168 hours every week. If you sleep 8 hours per night, that's 56 hours. You take right off the top. All you have left is 112 hours, and everything else needs to fit inside that slot. That's time with your spouse, time with your kids, time commuting, picking up, dropping off, eating, running errands, doing laundry, all those miscellaneous things. And then you have church, devotions, and maybe a community group. If you're like most people, that calendar fills up very quickly. And eventually, you have competing goals and time slot conflicts. They're just tearing for what's the priority? What do you need to focus on most? There's a dire need to decide what takes priority and why. The best way to do that is to get clear which callings are primary and which callings are not. Your first calling is your relationship with God. That's the foundation of all your other callings, and it's the fountain which feeds your other callings and gives you the energy to pursue them. So we have to keep the main thing the main thing. God is not glorified when we prioritize our career above our relationship with Him. Things are out of balance, is not going to work. Our calling to love Him is what gives us the health and emotional resources to handle the other challenges in a healthy way. That's why Jesus told us the greatest commandment is to what? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. Matthew 22:37. The goal of this calling is to make you more like Christ, growing through repentance towards holiness, obedience to His word and spirit, and faith in Christ's finished work. That's what God's doing inside your heart. And so no matter what happens in life, your source of hope and joy and meaning come from God. And you never outgrow this. You talk to Christians who are mature and wonderful, and they're 70, 80, 90 years old. They're still growing. They're still learning. There's no plateau when we stop. God keeps inviting us into a deeper relationship. So you always need to keep growing in the knowledge of God and learning how to honor God in all you do and find joy in that relationship. And that gives you that foundation. Now, let's look at your second calling, which is your relationship with your immediate family. In the biblical economy and design, the family is the most basic element of society. If the family falls apart, there's long-lasting consequences. If fathers abuse their children, and their children rebel against the parents, the fabric of honor and trust begins to crumble in the entire family, then the society starts to come apart as well. This is God's design, and we have a calling to love and honor, care for our spouse, and then our children, and then parents. So just think about it this way. We can't put our career above our family. Our calling is to love those He gave to us, and those to whom we have made vows and with whom we have a covenant. It's wrong to sacrifice these relationships like so many people do in Hollywood and New York and in business, and their career is everything. And they sacrifice their relationships for their career and ambition and really selfishness. It can be cloaked in, this is my calling, but God doesn't call you to leave these other obligations and forget your spouse or your obligation to your kids or other things that God's called you to do. We don't quit caring for the widow and the orphan and the downtrodden just because we're called to go do art. That's a worldly sense of art for art's sake, and art is the ultimate thing in life, which is art as idolatry. This is not a biblical model. It's not a healthy model. You see too many people, from Picasso to producers right here in LA, they go through 3, 4, 5, 6 marriages for this reason. Their art is everything, and there's no balance. And so we need to make sure we don't imitate that just because they're great artists and think this is legitimate. It's not legitimate for a Christian. We have different priorities that will bring health and joy to our life if we just take the time to think these through. Now, sometimes the needs of a family can be quite demanding on our time and energy. Raising children takes tremendous time. Caring for a baby, an infant, often means you just don't get much sleep, right? And caring for a spouse during cancer or struggling with caring for children who are going through mental health issues, overcoming sickness, all of this requires countless hours. And it's not the same every week. It can change from week to week. And remember, you only have so many hours in a week. But this is the good thing. God knows this. He knows you're limited. He knows you can't do everything. Which brings us back to trusting in Him to care for us as we seek to care well for others. Don't think, well, God doesn't love me if I don't do everything, do all. No. He knows you're limited. So don't take everything on. And think about it. Loving our family members is exactly what God wants. God's love for us should overflow from us to the loved ones around us. Though it is a separate calling in one sense, it's also an extension of our relationship with God Himself, right? God is loving us. We're getting fed by that. And out of that, we feed our family with the love we have for them. Consider these verses. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Matthew 19:5. Or, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your mother and father. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in discipline and instruction of the Lord. Ephesians 6:1-4. Now, listen to me carefully on this. We may tend to see work as separate from family, and there's a sense in which it is. But if we have a holistic and biblical approach, we also see that as part of loving your family. You can't let your family fail to have food on the table and a roof over their head. Part of loving your family is working so you can provide for that family. Work and care, providing safety and nurture. One spouse may be doing more of the work and the other may be doing more caregiving. That's fine. But parents' love for God compels them to love their children, who are also a gift from God. And work is a good thing. It is where we find dignity through creating value in the marketplace and in our community. God gave us the call to work before the fall. Think about that. Work was expected in the Garden of Eden before we sinned. It was a gift, not a burden. After the fall, it became harder, and we struggle against the brokenness of this world and the sweat of the brow, and it's more challenging, but it's still a gift and a good thing. We work hard, and we earn things, and it's very satisfying. That was meant to be there from the beginning. It's a means of contributing to our community and finding dignity in the process. This is the beauty of all kinds of work, including creative work. And often, we all have to do work we don't like in order to provide for ourselves and for our families. It's just part of life. It's very few people who get to do what they love and make enough money to provide. And that's okay. But once your family is being provided for, you can seek out work that satisfies you more and integrates with your abilities and affinities and find that sweet spot, hopefully, right? If you're able to do what you love and get paid for it, just thank God and be grateful. And remember, other people are not going to have the blessings you have, so be gracious to them as well. Your third calling is into your spiritual family. This is your church community, close friends you can walk with and grow together with over time. And there are times this community may be even more precious to you than your own family. For orphans and widows, it becomes your primary family. And if your nuclear family is highly dysfunctional and it's just really testing and trying, maybe not non-Christians in that mix who don't understand your faith, then your spiritual family may be the key way in which God nurtures you and feeds you more than your nuclear family. You still love that nuclear family, but you're getting fed in this spiritual family in a unique way. In our spiritual family, we can carry each other's burdens and become iron sharpening iron, so we continue to spur one another on, to love one another, and to do good works. And this is a tremendous resource for us. But make no mistake, Christian community will always be challenging because we're all still sinners. For a great book on this, look up Dietrich Bonhoeffer's Life Together. It is humbling and refreshing to read. It's just so real and honest, but also convicting, right? But if we neglect the family of faith, how can we be following the commandment to love our neighbor? Remember, there are times you will need encouragement and support. There are times you will be blessed with the opportunity to encourage and support others. God does profound work like this in the community of believers. So don't neglect this calling to your spiritual community. And again, this is really an extension of God's love for you, working out in your relationship with other believers, right? And remember Hebrews 10, which tells us, let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Hebrews 10, 24, 25. So far we have your first calling, your relationship with God. Your second calling, which is your relationship with your immediate family, which includes the work you do to care for them, as well as taking time for them, and the Sabbath with them, leading them to rest even in the goodness of God. Not just work, but also rest. And that third calling is into your spiritual family. But now we have a fourth calling, and that fourth calling can be your passions and hobbies that don't pay the rent or fit into one of the previous categories. Maybe you volunteer with a noble cause or teach on the side. Maybe you create art for fun. There are thousands of wonderful opportunities here, but if you aren't providing for your family already, we can't let these things take over our lives. You can't take something that can only fund the equivalence of a hobby, or it's draining money, you're spending money. To do this, you can't ask that to bear the burden of a job that's supposed to pay the bills. And there are plenty of artists that do this. It's damaging to themselves, to their spouses, and to their families. So we need to understand where our gifting fits with the economic challenges we're facing, right? And if you want to grow to make more money in your art, better be a better entrepreneur with the gifts you've been given. Check out our Catalyst course. Comes out once a year, but that is the course, a year-long course to really train you and give you all the skills to do that. Now that we've gone through the issue of callings and those 4 types of callings, and if you want to learn more about this, please go click on the link, check out our Artist Calling Masterclass. It's free. It's an hour of free teaching, If you're interested in the end, you can join and take advantage of our Artist Online Calling course, and encourage you to go check that out. People are really blessed. It's a very popular course for us. But now that we've addressed those calling issues, we can start to get into what this means for each unique season of your life. Every season of life is different, right? There are seasons when loved ones have cancer or illness. There are seasons when babies and little ones demand more time and you get less sleep. And there are seasons for doctors and interns when you have no margin. So if your spouse is going through med school, you got to carry everything. God understands all of this. God is not forcing you into a box. He's giving you the map for the journey, helping you see the proper resources you will need along that journey. So sometimes he's inviting you to see your own limits and to just rest in him. You can't do it all. You can't control it. There will be times a family will sacrifice so that one member can try a new career, get a degree, or deal with new challenges. There'll be times you can support others and times you can be supported as well. The challenge is to recognize the season you're in. How do I love God, love my family, stay engaged with my spiritual family in the process, and make decisions about what season this is. How do I honor God in this season? For some men and women, they cannot pursue their art until the kids are out of college. For others, they're free to pursue their art because they've been blessed financially. They either have low rent or they have enough funds, whatever it is, they can devote more time to their creative passions, which is wonderful. Sometimes we need to stop our creative career and get another job just to pay the rent while family members need our support. We can't flip-flop these priorities. But in each season, if we remember the priorities of our callings, we're able to make these decisions and be careful to honor God and also care for our family without feeling like we're burying artistic gifts and hiding them or feeling frustrated. I can't get to them and I feel so awful. Well, if you're honoring God by caring for a spouse and making sure everything's taken care of, God knows that, right? He knows you don't have an extra 10 hours a week to write that play or put out that production. So you don't beat yourself up. You go, I'm going to rest in God's love for me. He's got me, and he'll give me the time when I need the time. So we can have that spiritual growth in resting in God, or even learning to suffer well and trust God in suffering, and not be frustrated. We can't do everything every week, every year. There are seasons that are going to be a give and take. Remember, no matter what season you're in, you are never alone. God is always with you. He is always providing exactly what you need when you need it. So trust in him with all your heart. Live and create in a way that honors him, and you'll be blessed. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was both encouraging and inspiring, gives you some new ways to think about this, and affirming that even if you're struggling with this, you're not alone. That's normal. It's normal to struggle with this, but God is with you. Just make the right decisions, a lot of trade-offs. If you enjoyed this, check out our website and our online courses, especially the Artist Calling course and that masterclass. Just click on the links down below. If this is a blessing to you, take a second, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel. As always, I pray God blesses you and equips you to be salt and light in a world that desperately needs it. Check out another one of our videos right here.